Woof. Took me a while to get here, huh? Had some issues. We'll call it that so I don't get mad. Woof. Took me a while to get here. Let some people join in. If there's anybody, I know I'm really, really late because of things. Not too happy about it, but it'll be okay. Let's see here. Anybody in chat beforehand? Did I miss something while I was taking care of something? No. Well, that's good, I guess. I would hate to keep people waiting. So let some people in here. What a day of college football. What a day of no big upsets yet, though. We almost had a couple. We'll talk about one. People pile in. What a football. What is it about odd years in Jordan-Hare, man? Odd years. I'm Zach Ramilius here with Alabama Postgame here at the voice of college football. Alabama wins 27-24. Were you guys nervous or something about that one? Like and subscribe. Join our Discord. Talk college football all the time. Sign up at MarkRogersTV. Oh, excuse me. And my mouse is still being silly. So that's good. Join our call-in show at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where Mark will go over all of today's events. More than just Alabama Auburn, a great Apple Cup, a really fun Michigan Ohio State game. Like we've just had this week delivers every year, and the Iron Bowl in Jordan-Hare delivers every year. So let's talk about it. Jaden Milrose, freaking stud, isn't he? Like I was in a group chat. I think you guys know which group chat. And I was making the joke, like, you know, on Madden, you have like an awareness stat. Milrose had to be negative after I think on the last drive, he had time on the fumble, at least, to pick it up and throw it out of bounds or do something with it. Chuck it out of the back of the end zone. Don't take a grounding, obviously, but he had time to make some sort of play, I think, on that fumble. And then what was he doing? Running past the line of scrimmage. What are you doing? As I see a couple people joining me here, the voice of college football, leave a comment, subscribe, like the video. What was he doing on that play? I'm not quite sure, but he delivers with a freaking dot. That was the best. We'll talk about how Auburn blew it because they did. Because why Isaiah Bond's in that position. We'll talk, you could pass interfere with him, and I would get it. Like, okay, take the pass interference. Now it's 4th and goal, or it's first down at the 16. Okay, like you still have a decent chance. I'd rather that than do what happened when you blow it and you lose the game. And now, what looked like a really promising first season for Hugh Freeze ends in major disappointment. You got murdered by New Mexico State, who won their 10th game, I believe, today. So good on them. Or do they have an opportunity to win their 10th game in next week or in a bowl game? I believe that is the case. They beat Jacksonville State. Oh no, they went 10-3. So, you lose. They're not a bad team, but you lose to them, and then you have the Iron Bowl all wrapped up. You just need to make one stop, 4th and 31, 4th and goal from the 31. And you give it up. Not the first time Hugh Freeze has been on a really disappointing end of a 4th and forever play. Was that 2015 Arkansas Ole Miss, which was on a different channel from Alabama LSU, when Leonard Fournette went for like 10 yards on 14 carries or something in his Heisman run. I have a weird memory when it comes to that kind of stuff. But man, that was just a perfect throw. Wow, like Alabama isn't gonna get any style points for that one. They didn't give him the touchdown, obviously, on the last interception, so they didn't cover, which would have been the most hilarious backdoor cover I've ever seen. Because I think the spread was 8.5 kickoff. I got it pulled up. No, I didn't want to X out to look at. No, why would I do that? You silly phone. It was 14.5. I think there was a live spread of 8.5 though. I'm not sure. I just saw a couple tweets. Still 14.5. You win by 13. That's crazy. Or you would have won by 10. What a football game, man. That was back and forth. And you know what? Auburn, when they get a quarterback who can throw in front of him, Hugh's going to have something. I don't know how great or good they're going to be. I don't know if they're going to be contending for an SEC title spot or if they're simply going to take like the Ole Miss route, which is like second, third in the West. I know the West is going away, but like, like the top of like that second tier of teams that this year is headlined by like Mizzou and Ole Miss. I don't know if that's where they're going to be or if they're legitimately going to be able to punch up and get into the Georgia, Alabama tier. I think I know the answer, but the 12-team playoff, things are going to change a little bit. But when they get a quarterback that can throw the ball forward, Hugh's going to have something. And I'm being a little complimentary of Auburn because this is the second time odd years they get Georgia and Bama at home. See how the Georgia series goes moving forward. 2 years ago, Bama was a drive away from winning a national title, but it took 4 overtimes to win in Jordan-Hare. 2019, they lost in Jordan-Hare. 2017, they lost in Jordan-Hare. 2015, they won, but that was a really bad Auburn, like horrible Auburn team. I don't think they made a bowl. That was the Jeremy Johnson Auburn. They didn't make a bowl, and it's still, they didn't blow them out. And then 2013, you obviously lose. So since Malzahn got there, it's been really competitive in Jordan-Hare for the most part. Today was no different. I was joking with a couple friends of mine. I was on the phone with during the game just because it's kind of what we do. Because I couldn't hang out because I had to do this until stuff happened. Auburn had Peyton Thorne mostly back there. They brought in Ashford for some run stuff, but they mostly stuck with Peyton Thorne. 5 of 16 for 91 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. What we were talking about it was this would have been the worst quarterback Saban ever lost to, as the since 2007, and I think the answer would have been yes. Maybe like I said, Peyton Thorne was the quarterback of a 10-win Michigan State team, but like he was not the reason for that. That was a big part of that was Kenneth Walker. Zach Calzada is the other choice. Really, I had somebody say Cardale Jones. Like, Cardale Jones beat Oregon. Like, Cardale Jones won a national championship. I legitimately think Peyton Thorne had a strong case to be the worst quarterback that ever beat Saban post 2007, post Bama becoming serious in 2008. And that's why they lost to Georgia too, is they just didn't have a serious quarterback. So good on Bama for not letting him be a serious quarterback. Looking into the team stats, Auburn did have 337 total yards, 244 yards rushing. You got Georgia next week. The thing about Georgia, though, is they're better passing the ball this year than running the ball. See how that goes. But just looking at a box score, you look at Jarquez Hunter, 14 carries, 93 yards. Alston, 10 carries for 85 yards, including a 56-yarder. Peyton Thorne, 15 carries, 57 yards. Johnson, a carry for 12 yards. Robbie Ashford, he came in the game. He didn't do anything, but that's not surprising. Robbie Ashford's not that good. So, man, it really does feel like Auburn gave Alabama one, doesn't it? Because they fumbled in some senses. They fumbled that punt, or they muffed the punt. And, I think Alabama would have gotten the stop anyway, but they got it. And on the flip side, Jalen. Oh, goodness gracious. Why did my computer do that? Jalen Milroe, 16 for 24 for 259 and 2 touchdowns, 10.8 yards per attempt. That's pretty dang good for him. He also ran the ball 18 times for 107 yards, broke a 37-yarder. McClellan, 15 carries, 66 yards. Roydell, not much. Jam, not much. So the run game wasn't great for Bama today outside of the quarterback run. Milroe really did it. Was a one-man show offensively as far as, receivers have their part to play, of course, in this too. But Jermaine Burton, 4 catches for 107 yards. Isaiah Bond, 5 catches for 75 yards. One was for 31 yards. You may have seen it. Malik Benson, a catch for 33 yards. Nye Black, 2 catches for 24 yards. And, Law was there, and McClellan had a catch. Really a lot of Jalen Milroe today, and he was excellent. Outside of the 2 plays on the last drive, where I don't know what he was doing. 4 sacks for the Alabama defense today, but man, their run D was just horrible. He was going to be a thorn, I think. I don't know how often they'll beat him, but he was going to be a pain in the butt. Auburn's probably happy about the switch, because I don't know if they'll have to play Alabama and Georgia every year. And I'm sure they're sad they're going to miss the rivalries, but those are 2. You're going to lose to them. You're going to lose to them, but 9 out of 10 times, and you'll win 1 and say, "Oh, we're back, and we'll beat Alabama every year," and then you don't. Or we'll beat Georgia every year. When was the last time they beat Georgia? 20. Bo Nix never did it. They didn't do it in 2018. Was that 2017? It had to have been. That Stidham year. Had to be the last time they beat them, which is nuts. Because Auburn is a really good football program historically, but when your 2 rivals are Bama, who's been a dynasty, and then you got Georgia, who is 3 wins away from becoming a just as good of a dynasty with 3 in a row, and we'll see how they do moving forward. Man, tough for Auburn, but they played really hard today. You can't take that away from them. They played really hard. They really wanted this one. Obviously, it's the biggest rivalry in college football, unless you're an idiot and you think it's second biggest. And after the egg laying, they war against New Mexico State. And Alabama, first drive, Auburn gets the ball. They want the ball. They take it. They move backwards. They punt. Bama comes right down and scores. And it's, I'm starting to think. And then they force another 3 and out. And here I'm starting to think, okay, this could get ugly quick if Auburn doesn't get a couple stops here. They forced a punt, 3 and out. Then they come right back. They score. Alston, a 4-yard run. All run plays. The 142-yard run. That kid's really good. He's a really good football player. He's only a junior, so I was just making sure on that. Because I thought he was a junior, because it feels like he's been around forever. But he punches it in, and Bama gets a field goal, another punt, and then a touchdown. A Damari Alston, 56-yard run. And then Johnson from 12 out, and it's 14-10. And now you're on the flip side going, okay, Bama gets the ball, they'll be okay, but criminy. And then Jermaine Burton, 68 yards. Milroe's really improved, man. Forced punt. Bama, Auburn throws a pick in the end zone on a Hail Mary. Whatever. Can't be too mad about that one. You can't get too mad if you're an Auburn fan about either of Thorne's interceptions. One was a Hail Mary, and one was there's 1 second and you're at the 1-yard line. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I would rather be returning a kickoff in that situation. Bama opens the second half with a field goal on a 12-play drive. It was really nice. Okay, 20-14. Bam. Back comes Auburn. Johnson with a 37-yard catch. And then a 27-yard catch for a touchdown. He was all over the place, Mr. Johnson. And then Bama misses a field goal. At what point, if you're in the chat, you know how like when you watch the NCAA tournament and you see like a 15 versus a 2 or a 16-1, we've now had two 16-1 games, or like a 14-3, or there's a huge upset. At what point do you start believing, okay, this might actually happen? Like take like Arizona Princeton. It's a pretty close game throughout, if I remember. Better case is probably Purdue. Why can't I think of their name? Fairleigh Dickinson. I didn't really think Fairleigh Dickinson could win that game till like a minute left and they had the lead. At what point, if you're in the chat, did you actually think, oh, Auburn might win this? Auburn really has a chance to win this. Because this is where I thought they had a chance. Bama misses a field goal. And then Auburn comes down, kicks a field goal. It's 24-10. I'm thinking, oh, we've really got one here. Like I was still up to that point thinking, okay, Auburn's playing really frisky as they do in Jordan Hare. Bama's going to get the ball. At that point, the score is 21-10. They're going to get the ball. They're going to come score, and they're going to win like 34-21. No one's going to be really happy about it, but they won. Auburn, good job. You played really hard. Good for you. Not the case. They missed the field goal, and then Auburn comes back, kicks the field goal to start the fourth quarter. And we've talked about this before on the chat. Sometimes when you play a team and you play up, you're an unranked team playing a top 5 team. There are coaches. Lane Kiffin's a good example of this. I know he's not unranked, but when he plays Alabama or he plays Georgia, he plays to win. He's going for it on fourth down. He's being aggressive. He's making big-time play calls. And he needs to do a better job of it because he doesn't win any of those games. But what that leads to is opportunity to get blown out. Because if you fail fourth down, short field the other way, touchdown, better team. So when they had 3rd and goal at the 5, up 1, excuse me, and they just ran like a little dive play up the middle. I know they had run the ball with a lot of success, but in the goal line situations, goal to go, it's not that easy. And part of me wonders if they were really going to go for it on 4th and 2 at like the 20, at like the 30, if it wasn't for the offsides. But then Hunter, a 1-yard run, that's not aggressive. That's not playing to win. That's playing to keep it close. But they kick the field goal, and it's 24-20. Bama goes 3 and out. Milroe, no run. Milroe, incomplete pass. Milroe, incomplete pass. And then the next drive, Peyton Thorne run, Peyton Thorne, and then Peyton Thorne sacked. The next drive, Bama comes out. They have to punt because they can't get anything going offensively in the second half. But the punt is muffed. He drops it. Milroe, 11-yard run. And then you have 1st and 10 at the 19. You had 3rd and here's that whole last drive was because people won't remember because of the 4th and 31, 4th and goal, is Bama had 3rd and 20 after a sack and a negative run. Milroe takes it for 19 yards, gets popped. That was a freaking collision, and good for those 2 kids because neither of them made business decisions. That was a great hit. And good on that Auburn player because he knocked him short of the first down. Then they run like a little toss sweep, get the first down. And then obviously the last set of downs goes ahead. The muff snap and then illegal forward pass. And Isaiah Bond, 31-yard touchdown. Reminds me a couple years ago when Bryce Young took him down the field and no timeouts and got it done. And then, 30 seconds, no timeouts. What are you going to do if you're Hugh Freeze? My favorite part about all that was Gary Danielson and Nestler asking, should Bama kick a field goal with all 3 timeouts? And no. No, you have to go for it. You kick a field goal. What does that accomplish? It doesn't accomplish anything. So, good choice by Nick there to just go ahead and take the point, or take the go for it, not take the points. Excuse me. Hugh Freeze probably would have taken the points today. Bama wins, man. People really didn't think Nick Saban would figure it out. Hey, man, good to hear from you. That was crazy. What a football game. That's what makes this weekend special, man. A lot of great football games. The Michigan, Ohio State, that was a great game. Iron Bowl was a great game. The Apple Cup was a great game. There's just been, I don't know how many. I mean, I have multiple screens set up. I don't know about the rest of you, because I have no life. Northwestern Illinois was a hell of a football game. If you didn't watch it, I was shocked a Big Ten West game was in the 40s, but good on that coach for Northwestern. He saved that program, man. Like they're in a good spot because of him, and he should. I think he got named the full head, got the head gig. Just gonna take a quick peek what's going on else in the world. Sorry, it's been a long day. I had to work this morning. That sucked. Florida State's 10-0 Florida. Stanford's over Notre Dame. Georgia Tech are tied. That's not that surprising. Georgia tends to play with its food early. Did Georgia Tech score on the first drive? No, they didn't. They always score first drive. And Clemson, South Carolina tied at 7. That's as far as like SEC games go. So what a weekend in the SEC. We're finishing out with 3, ACC, SEC rivalry games. Yesterday, you had the Egg Bowl Thursday. That was an ugly football game. You had Arkansas, Mizzou yesterday. Mizzou took care of business there. And now you have the rest of the slate. At LSU played Auburn closer than I thought they would, but they eventually got the win. Louisville knocked off their opponent. Tennessee did what they should have done against Vanderbilt. Just a good, fun weekend of SEC college football. And it's not over yet. And make sure to catch Mark's live show, 10:30 p.m. Central, here on the Voice of College Football, where he can break down all these games. And because, obviously I'm not watching them right now. I keep looking at my notes on my phone to, just to kind of keep this. But Christian came in here, and Christian's a really good dude. And subscribe to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to Ballard Sports Media. He's a good dude. He knows what he's talking about. Loves sports, loves his Crimson Tide, as I'm sure the rest of you do. Napier, 4th and 1, you got to go for it. Sorry, I have the app open. Shouldn't do that. Any other thoughts on the game from the chat? I mean, that was just a crazy football game. I mean, how many football games end on 4th and 31, man? Like, I don't know what. I'm not a football genius. I think those of you who watch me know this. I know players. I know some stuff. I'm not a brilliant X's and O's tactician. I know plays, but like, did Auburn have like a spy? Did I see that right? It really looked like Auburn had a spy like 20 yards downfield. In case what exactly? Like Milroe takes off and they start doing some pitch shit. Like, pardon my language, like, why? He's going to chuck it, and he made the best throw I've ever seen James. Like, in the corner of the end zone, I thought he threw it out of bounds when he first got rid of it. You sometimes just see how powerful, like, because he's got a good arm. I thought he chucked it out of bounds. I was like, Jalen, come on, man. No. That was a dot. That was a perfect throw in that situation, and good for him. Milroe's taken a lot of crap this year, man. He's taken a lot of crap, but this last couple months, I know the schedule hasn't been brilliant. LSU's not a great football team. They lost to Ole Miss. They did beat Mizzou, but they lost. They've lost some games, but that's still a good win. They lost Florida State. No, what am I talking about? They've lost to 3 like top 12 teams. They're awesome. But that was. If you're an Alabama fan in the chat, okay, I honestly want to know, because I have my opinion. Would you rather kill your rival, like Mizzou did to Arkansas, where they won 48-14. Would you rather kill your rival or win like that? Okay, maybe not that dramatically, but like, or like Louisville, Kentucky today, where Louisville or Kentucky pulled it out with like 30 seconds left. What would you rather do? Because I think I would rather kill him, because I my anxiety will not let me. But man, like, I'm really curious. Wow, there's a lot of snow. Someone sent me a picture of the snow in Farmageddon. Good for Manhattan, Kansas. It's a good fan base. Georgia Tech takes a 10-7 lead. Keep an eye on that one, folks. I think we all know what's going to happen, but keep an eye on it. Why not? This is the last, as I was telling somebody, this is the last like Saturday of college football, like a full slate where every team's playing before the sport changes forever. And it does. You can love realignment, you can hate realignment, like I do. The sport's going to change forever. There's no more Pac-12, 12-team playoff. So like today's Michigan-Ohio State game. Okay, like next year, it's just another game. They could play the next week. The sport is changing forever. So enjoy this while you can. Really do. Really enjoy this. You may like what's coming next year. And if you do, God bless you. Don't know why I keep doing that. I'm cold. God bless you if you do enjoy it. But the sport's changing forever. So enjoy it. Any other commenters? Because we'll keep digging a little deeper. I thought Alabama was really aggressive today in the pass game, which I don't. With how Auburn plays, I guess that can make sense. Make Peyton Thorne beat you. I just at some point you need to stack the box and just play one-on-one with their receivers. I don't understand why more teams don't do that. Like in wildcat situations, or like when the Orgy kid came in for Michigan, like they still had two safeties back. Like, well, he's not going to throw it. But because that Auburn run game was really good today. Georgia Tech didn't get the ball back, did they? Oh no, my phone's glitching. Oh, they kicked a field goal on 4th and 1. Georgia Tech kicked a field goal on 4th. Oh my God. Wow. I had to respond to something from a family member. Make sure everything was okay. That's Jesus. You're not playing. See what I was talking about earlier? Playing to win, and I don't think Hugh Freeze was doing it. Wasn't bought in fully. Kicking on 4th and 1 in the 8. You're not playing to win. You're not. You're playing to not get blown out. Florida just got a safety. They're up 12-0. Florida State. So if you're an Alabama fan looking at this, like Florida State's about to lose, and you're about to jump them in the rankings. So Bama's going to jump Florida State potentially. That's what you're up to 7 now. You're not going to go any higher than that, but that's still important because that knocks a team out. They might jump to 6 because they'll probably jump Ohio State. One of Washington or Oregon's going to be out, so that's 5. Now you're competing with. You beat Georgia, you're in. So actually, the team really rooting for Florida State the hardest is probably Texas. But it's enough. So I'm going to keep an eye on if you're Alabama, because if Florida State loses, win and you are in. And then you take your shot at Michigan and the winner of Oregon, Washington, and maybe get another shot at Texas. I'm sure the Alabama players Wouldn't hate that. I'm sure they would love another shot at the Longhorns, and Saban would love another shot at Sark. That was just a good football game earlier this year. God, every time I open up my ESPN app, I just see the throw and the catch in the corner, and wow, what a football game, man. What a football game. Any other thoughts or comments from the chat? Alabama wins 27-24. You're here. Voice of College Football, Alabama postgame. We are live. We'll be live one more time this year at least. I don't know quite how bowl situation worked. Like 2 years ago, I did the bowl game. I did both bowl games. I did the semi. I didn't do the national. I didn't do the natty, but I did the semifinal against Cincy. Last year, I didn't do the bowl game. Mark just kind of took over there, which is fine. Playing Kansas State. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm going to live at least one more time. That'll be next week when they play Georgia. And Georgia's right now trailing the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. I can't imagine that'll last too much longer, but here we are. Any other thoughts, ideas, questions about this football game? I want to get your guys' thoughts. I really do, because it's not too often you see an ending like that in a football game like this. That was a special football game. The last Iron Bowl before everything changes. Where in the future you might have an Iron Bowl, like in the future, okay, down the line, like a 2013 Iron Bowl, it's just not the same. Because if it's number 3 versus like number 5 or was that number 1 versus number 4? I think it was. Both teams are in. I mean, one's going to be able to play for the SEC championship, but for an ultimate goal of a national title, both teams could have gotten there. Would have gotten into the playoff, and both teams would have had as good a shot as any. Shoot, 3 SEC. Missouri would have made it. Probably 4. South Carolina would have made it too. That was wow. Alrighty then. If nobody else has any thoughts or ideas on this game, I know I was really late, and that's on me. Not actually, no, it's not. But circumstances are. I'm not taking responsibility for that. If any of you have any questions, you know where to find me. Twitter, find me at PsychoZ50. I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Join our Discord, talk college football all the time. There's only one more week left. But then, some of you guys might be dorks, because my favorite part of baseball is the offseason. I think baseball offseason is fascinating. I think the NBA offseason is fascinating. I think this year college football offseason is going to be incredible with the portal. You're already seeing some names start to enter. I think within the next week or two, you're going to see a lot of crazy names enter. People you wouldn't believe are entering. And you're seeing some new teams like Missouri, Louisville, who are going to take some guys, see what Colorado does in the portal. Like, there's a chance to do some really crazy things this year. You guys all have a great rest of your night. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the holidays with your families or whoever you are celebrating with. Thank you all for being here. One more game, SEC Championship. It's going to be our best show yet. I'm heading up to a friend's house. I'm going to do it in his living room because he invited me up for a house party, and I'm like, I got to do this. He's like, okay, yeah, the party will be over, and we'll just be us hanging out, so you can go do it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to go up there. You guys enjoy the rest of your college football slate. I am Zach Ramelius here with the Voice of College Football, and you guys have a great night.